Up next, we're going to be having the men's heat will be coming in as the big final, where we are going to have in the water Lorenzo CASATI, Leonardo CASATI, Jeremy Burlando, and Stino MUL. It is going to be an absolute banger. How young are these athletes, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I've been up against them for a bit now, and it's, yeah, now I know what those guys felt like when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Aaron, yourself, 5 world champion titles underneath. One of the things we've been saying is, you know, you have been in the competitive side of the sport for the better part of 2 decades. I think one of the first comps I ever saw you at was the Skyride in Tarifa, competing against the likes of, you know, Flash Austin, Robbie Nash, all the different generations. It must be cool to see new generations coming up because, like you say, it's kind of like the kids are here, but everybody still just has his part, and the level is unbelievable.
Insane. I mean, these kids just have no fear, you know, and you can see Leo making like such a great rise through this competition. Over the last few months, he's just improving. He's got the gear behind him that he's just feeling like so confident with. You can just see it, that he gets tuned in to whatever he's riding straight away. And yeah, I mean, to ride up against him in those heats, a couple of heats with him, I mean, it was just really, really impressive that he just does what he does every day in the heat. He's not letting anything else get to him. It's just what he does, what he loves, and I mean, it shows in the heats. Yeah,
one of the things we were actually saying when Liam was in the booth is very impressed with an athlete at such a long age, you know, at such a young age, being in the water with top athletes that he's probably been looking up against, looking for moves and holding his calm. Sometimes you see with the younger guys losing the cool, but he is not losing the cool there. Double kite loop, boogie loop with a board spin opener.
Unbelievable. I mean, Lorenzo as well, he's just proved over the last few years that he's been riding at the top level with a handful of the other guys. You know, Andrea's not here, one of his good mates, but yeah, Jeremy as well is one of them. Jamie was unfortunate in the previous heat, but I mean, look at this to start things off. I mean, that's got to be well up in the 8s already. So I mean, let's see what comes through for that. But yeah, high 7s at least, and straight in with a banger. So now let's see what his younger brother Leonardo can deliver, and I'm sure he's going to be fired up to do something similar.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in between these boys. It's going to be the double off. One of the things that, you know, I reckon, let's see who gets the bigger room in the house after this. Winner takes all, mate.
Exactly. But like I said, I mean, he's got a long way to, a lot of experience to gain. And there's still another great one, late back. I think the kite was a little bit higher in the sky there. You could see the angle weren't the same, but, you know, this kid, well, I think he's only 14, isn't he?
Yeah, only 14 years of age. You know, I don't want to say how many times older than we are, mate. It's just insane how young it is getting. And now, Jeremy Burlando, one of the things we've been saying about Jeremy, he is looking very, very confident out there. Together with Lorenzo, you can tell they ride in similar conditions over there in Almagro and Tenerife. They are very tuned in. Every move you can see that they're in control. Of course, they've made mistakes on some of them, but the generic over the whole, you know, over the whole spectrum is every single thing seems to be dialed in. Here we have Jeremy out there on that new code by Slingshot. What is it going to be? Got a good kicker. Up we go. Double back kite loop with a board off and a couple of rotations on the way in, and lands it nice and clean.
I love Jeremy's style. He's also just so tuned in on the gear there. He's been riding these codes now, tested them over the last year or so, and it's just working for him so well. And he's just so smooth. I love his style. He's going massive, and like you say, just so comfortable in these conditions. And you can see with both Lorenzo and Jeremy, like they got here and instantly they were standing out because they could you just tell they just read the conditions better. They've been here before, so. Yeah, I mean, those two are definitely been favourites coming in, but they still got to put it down in this final, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, and here we have Stino as well. Kite loop, late back, board off from the fin. Nice and controlled. Stino, every single heat, he's been landing those 3 moves, getting that base score down, and then kind of elaborates on that depending on how and who he has in the heat. Like, I mean, you've been competing for so many years. When you go out into a heat, do you want to get kind of those basics down to kind of, you know, loosen yourself off and then kind of improve and get bigger scores? Or do you start off all guns blazing? How would you see it, especially in conditions like this?
Yeah, you take it heat by heat and where you are, who you're up against, how you see the heats unfolding. You have to be dynamic and yeah, adaptive, and you can see that yeah, most people do that. I mean, me personally, I like to get something that I know will get a good score and just have like the first 3 tricks dialed in to have some base and then build from it, especially with having so many attempts possible at this event.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's only little things that you can improve, and you got to line up the kicker, you got to line up the wind and the gust, and then get your trick together. So if you really connect with one, you see it, you know, 2 or 3 tricks with it throughout the heat that people really connect with the takeoff, and they're always their biggest scores. So everything kind of has to line up, and you can see Stino, when he connects, he gets it good. But yeah, if not, then he has to just wait it out for the next one.
And obviously, Aaron, you know, one of the biggest questions we've been having out here on the stream is your move over to Harlem, and we can see the new Thrive is thriving out here on the competition floor. Tell me a little bit about this kite.
Wow, there goes.
Oh, beauty. It just lands it so clean.
Lorenzo, yeah, he's just so dialed in, and he's doing all the tricks that everyone's doing, but with a double loop. And this heat's so interesting because it's literally 2 guys on a 6 meter just doing doubles on everything, versus 2 guys on a bigger kite, on an 8, doing single loops, trying to get the extra height and style. So see how this plays out. I think the guys are really looking at the kite angle in the judges' tower, and the double loop does allow you sometimes to get that kite quite low. But again, Jeremy's so dialed in, and here goes Leo copying his brother. Oh, that's the first time I've seen him crash.
Actually, it's the first time I've seen him miss. Pressure is on.
Yeah, maybe now he's in a final, it's a different dynamic. He's trying to follow his brother. But it must be such a cool feeling to have them both in there together.
Just imagine his dad. Imagine his dad on the beach. He must have a smile. Both of his kids in a final of a World Championship event. That's a proud dad right there.
Oh, it has to be. And they're just absolutely ripping. And them as a family are such a great package because they just help each other out throughout the event. They're all on the same schedule, and they know what works. And now he's got double the work on the beach because now he's got both of them in the same heat, which is crazy.
It's kind of like, you know, the $1 million question is, which kid do you love more? And you say both.
Exactly.
All right, so Jeremy going for his second move. He's looking for the kickers as the guys are going behind the little bluff that we've got here. Jeremy's looking like he's on a bigger size than before. I reckon maybe an 8. He was out on a 7, maybe an 8. Wouldn't say it's as big as a 9, trying to get the info in. So I had a kite change at the last moments. But here, trick attempt number 2, 8 tricks, top 3 count. He's speeding up. He's seen something.
Yeah, he just sees the conditions. You see him being really patient usually. That's the first time I haven't seen him connect with something. But in the last heat, I was there on the beach and I saw him get timed out. He's really selective with his waves and having the time, and he was really disappointed that he got flagged out. So I think now he's probably thinking, right, I better get something going just in case that happens again, and maybe that's why now he rushed it a bit.
Stino, boogie contra, board off. 3 for 3 coming down, showing the control on that little bottom spin. We've seen Baby Shark doing that a lot as well, you know, kind of with that heli loop where they're coming in backwards. It just does show that you are completely in control. Question, by grabbing the board and tightening up your body, does that kind of, you know, stabilize you a bit more, or is it just added style?
I think it's added style. You just see they're so comfortable with the trick. It's funny with the down loops. If you come in a certain position, you definitely can use the kite to kind of glide around with it in a rotation as well. Like, it depends a little bit on the kite, on your style, and how much you over or under rotate the first trick. I try to be really controlled through the trick and then have a really tight and strong core on the way down, so I tend not to do that as much. But if you're willing to allow that to happen, then...
Oh, he's got speed. Look at that kicker.
That's a biggie.
1 or 2. Double kite loop, late backboard off, and a little wiggle on the way down, but he claims it. 57 kilometers an hour going into that move, Lorenzo.
Yeah, that's a good one. 60-meter height for a double loop on a 6-meter second loop. Yeah, everything very consistent there. I think that will be definitely up there in his bigger scores. That's the best one he's had so far. So he's able to got good speed, good vertical takeoff, and Leo went for a double kite loop there with a board off, but it sent him into a bit of a front roll, which was very strange. So not working out for Leo so far, but like I said, I would never rule him out of landing the tricks that he knows he can do. But
plenty of attempts as well. You can see that replay, yeah, just going. So, Aaron, question for you, mate. 10 years ago, would you have thought double kite loops were going to be coming into the mix, and S loops, and you yourself, you, Ruben, Lewis, you guys starting in South Africa with the mega loops and pushing the kite loop discipline? Do you ever think it would get this far?
No, definitely not. I mean, it's just crazy. He's gonna, yeah. I mean, it's crazy that I come to an event with a 5, 6, 7, even an 8 in my bag. I would never even thought to really ride 8s. We always thought hold on to the 9, go as big as possible, get that kite as low as possible. But the sport evolves, and you have to evolve with it. And now this is just what it is. And as long as everything's executed well, just like this from Jeremy, then yeah, what's to say it's not the right direction or a direction we should go in? But yeah. You can see these kids just really dialing in, and I love to see this, and I love to see what Lorenzo and the other boys are doing, because actually at the beginning of the double kite loops, the quality maybe wasn't quite there like it is now, and now you see the quality. The kite is very consistent through the loop, the kite is low, the tricks are technical. So I mean, yeah, I mean the risk goes up and up, but yeah, it's
Stino just getting the ball back on there. I mean, one of the things I love about Jeremy is a lot of them, he takes it from the fin and then flips it around and, shows that extra bit of style, extra bit of extension, but also must be harder to control throughout the air. Stino doing a similar thing here. At the moment on the scorecards, we can see Lorenzo Casati is in first position, waiting for that second score to come in here for Jeremy Burlando, and then second place for Stino. So quite close. Lorenzo 777. Oof. He's already put in a solid first 3 moves as we move into attempt number 4 for each one of these athletes.
Yeah, it's really good to see the level going as it is, and yeah, the styles are just different, and it's been interesting all event to see what plays out. But everyone's been confident in their gear, and a little delay on the second loop. Oh, and a weird late rotation. That was very strange how he got put out.
It looked like he got caught off on the takeoff there as well.
There's definitely an element to a lot of these tricks now that the free fall that you get really sends the kite very far behind you. You need it to go behind you so far in the heli loop that it really slows you down. And sometimes that can really give you an awkward body position. And you just see it there. He just couldn't get the kite round in time to kind of give him that forward momentum and have his core strength to take the landing. So one crash there. It's definitely, despite being young kids in the heat, I think the day definitely takes its toll on you as the day goes on. There's a lot of time hanging around, a lot of energy spent in all the heats prior, and then with the conditions changing, and yeah, a lot of time even to make it up to the heat box in this format on this spot. It is quite a challenging spot, so maybe a little bit of that's coming into play here, but still many trick attempts to come.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons they did put those 8 trick attempts, so athletes can have and express themselves as much as possible. We got speed. Now, the youngster, for the first time in the competition, I'm going to say he looks nervous.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it could be a bit with the wind. Everyone's kind of struggling a little bit more than what I've seen throughout the event so far. So, yeah, if the wind drops off a little bit, or you just don't feel like you have the right line tension. I mean, the one thing about this spot is getting this vertical takeoff with the line tension. You can see certain kites in this conditions are working really well. They get really, when the guy connects with the wave in the right spot and gets this really vertical takeoff with a lot of line tension, I mean, the jump is just a drawing board to do what you want, and especially with the double loops and even the big singles here. You see the ones that really score high are always with a good takeoff with the right wave selection. So that's a critical part of getting big scores.
All right, so Jeremy here going for his 4th trick attempt at the moment in 3rd position. He's one of our main contenders for the World Championship. There's the doobie. Oh, unusually missing the tic-tac there.
Yeah, it's high risk to flip the board during these these rotations. I mean, he was traveling so far, And generally, he's in a really nice position when he actually lets go and flips the board into the handle and everything's quite close by. But here you just see it got a little bit behind him, and he couldn't get the board to come round at the right time. He already knew there in the jump he was disappointed. So
yeah, head goes back and anything. I reckon the F-bomb was dropped there.
Yeah.
So Stino up next. So you can see him there with the new mode X from Cabrina with the Alula. A lot of different constructions, a lot of the new 2025 kites coming down here as it's that summertime where most of the bands are releasing, and it is a construction standoff. It's kind of where the kites and the development is definitely going right now.
Yeah, it's madness actually to see all the kites that are really performing for each rider. It's becoming really noticeable, like which ones are sort of going. It's a development race at the moment because, you know, there's been some standout kites in the past, and I can see, yeah, it's nice to actually see it close up a little bit at the moment, and each rider have a weapon to really, yeah, let them express themselves and do the tricks that they want to be doing and get the height, get the loop, and it's across the board as well. I mean, the sport's always changing. You want the kites to do different things, and it's always hard to like pinpoint what a kite should really do, especially in each size. You know, you have 6, 7, 8, 9, which takes totally different tricks in different conditions, and sometimes double loops are scoring, sometimes singles, and it's like always a balance. But it seems like everyone's starting to have a set of equipment that really works.
Stino going for the doobie contra with a board off. Oh, a hard landing, but kept it together. Good move there from here. A lot of power and execution through that one.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, he's his standard trick. You've seen him do some of the biggest contra front board offs that I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Saw a couple of him in Cape Town this year, which were absolutely huge. So that's one of his go-to tricks and quite a high scorer, just because he's so confident. And yeah, again, you just see him confident to just send that kite whenever he wants and get the kite angle good. And yeah, something the judges have really been critical on this event, I think, is the kite angle, and that's been, yeah, quite nice to see as well in combination with the technical stuff.
Oh, here we go. Double kite loop, boogie loop, board off.
Yeah.
That's what he was looking for, the one more there.
Yeah, you could see from the takeoff straight away that was going to be right. And that will be up there. That will put him into the lead further, I believe, with a better score than 7.5 or 6 there. You just took the right kicker. The wave was like closing towards him, and there's no better feeling because then you really get like pushed up into the wind. When I was out there, they're just the ones like I'm just desperate for. You're like, please just bring me that perfect kicker, because you just know that's the one. You just feel like you're in an elevator on the way up, and then, yeah, it's been cool. I've been really impressed with the wind here as well, actually. When you look at the spot, and also in other areas in the Canaries, you often have quite gusty wind. But here the wind's been really lofty. It's really, yeah, thrown you into the air nicely, and yeah, combined with the odd kicker and the nice wave, it's been amazing.
Yeah, all right, so here we go, continuing on. Leonardo, there's the one. Oh, he's got the board off. Does he get it? No! Misses the board. Just missed the board on that one. He got the height, he got the extension. So unfortunate there, the crash. So now, Burlando, let's have a look. He's got harsh deals at the moment. All of these athletes are not having the smoothest heat that they've had, but Lorenzo is just 7 for 7 for 7. Jeremy has really got to go for it if he wants to get into that mojo, but only halfway through. Let's not forget trick attempt number 5. So anything can happen because it all could change.
Yeah, definitely. I think Jeremy's going to pull a couple of tricks out easy on the next few. He's been so smooth all day long, and yeah, he has been in control of the heat so far. That's one thing I would say, and it's different when you're on the back foot and you have to make it happen. But he's generally started out every heat with 7s or 8s on his first 3 or 4 attempts and just built such a huge lead he could almost not lose it. So he's in a different situation here, but yeah, I really don't put him past him to pull it out the bag.
Did he hold that? He did hold that together. Did he actually come down? Nope. He's not happy. He's not happy. Jeremy unfortunately, there on those two moves. So now it's going to be Stino. So how are the scores looking? We have Lorenzo CASATI first, Stino Mo in second, Jeremy Burlando in third, Leonardo CASATI in fourth. That's what is happening out there right now. Oh, he's got a good kicker. This is a beauty. Gets it, and he get the board back on his feet. Yes, he does.
Big move. That's a classic. Double front, off the fin. And there's always a moment in that trick, if you just don't have the extra little bit of height, just as he comes around, it's here. If the wind doesn't catch it right and you don't get your front foot in, it's over. You saw it in the last heat. He had to bail the board. He just couldn't get it back on. So it's quite high risk, even though you're not flipping the board and you're not like having a moment that you're not in contact with it. To get the swing back right and get the ball back on your feet is pretty difficult. And that's why most people are going off the handle or like spinning it on the handle. And you actually, the two guys here in the final are two guys that do it a little bit different. And that's obviously helping because it is technically more difficult to flip the board off the fin, catch it, or just hold on to the fin the whole time, in my opinion. So, yeah, those two got a different style and it's working for them.
Yeah, I like how also both, you know, Jeremy and Stino, how sometimes we've seen it with Edgar as well, has when they do those front rotations, they hit that vertical axis. It's not just that horizontal spin. They really do the flip, kind of like whip themselves around. It's, you know, touching all of the axis out there. Little details that make the difference when it comes to the points. And, you know, the athletes that we have here on the water at 0.01 of a point could be a difference of a heat.
Yeah, definitely. There has been some close heats throughout the day. And it's really difficult for the judges to see as well. Like the tricks are far out. It's just hectic on the beach, and it's hard to see. So you really have to kind of emphasize what you're doing out there as well. But I think Lorenzo got some good speed. Didn't line up.
Yeah,
he'll turn around.
Not seeing it. I mean, we have 39.8. It's been solid 40 knots for the last 4 hours out here. This place blows.
Yeah, definitely. And it's hard to know if the wind meter on the screen does it justice, because I know yesterday I was absolutely holding on to an 8 like never before. Oh, this is good.
Can he get it? Can he get it? Can he get it? Oh, and that's what you were talking about, the catch again.
Wow, yeah.
It's just
2B board off, double loop. Wow, that's technical. It's pretty big. It's not a huge amount of hesitation in the double loop as well. And
kind of extends and then crouches again just to kind of flip himself around, kind of get that whiplash. But yeah, I mean, Lorenzo at the moment looking very comfortable and getting even more comfortable by the minute. So Leonardo CASATI getting to D-Day. He needs to start to get some scores if he wants to have a chance here. He has 3 more moves, so it could be a fresh start. Here we go. He goes up. There's the double back roll. Oh! With the shark attack, as I've been told.
That's
good
really
move.
Interesting, because he's just said, no, this isn't working for me right now. And he switched up to a bigger kite. So despite being the younger brother, he's on the bigger size kite, because it looks like, what is that, maybe an 8? Hard to tell there on the pictures. But he's gone to a bigger kite, and he's gone, right, single loops might work for me here. I'm switching it up. So yeah, interesting that he came in for a kite change, and he's got another score on the board, so that's good.
Confident booster, as he's got a big move. Now, oh, it's huge.
This is the Jeremy we know.
Now we're talking.
Easy.
How high was that?
Yeah.
How high was that? I'm going to call 20 meters.
Yeah, I would say.
I am going to call above 20 meters. Let's see, as that jump will be coming in. Leonardo was 19.9. Jeremy should be coming in. Look at that. Boogie board off with the board spin, controlled, calm, and comes down as he knew how important that moment was. And it doesn't look like his info's coming in. We'll try and get that. And now we can feel the 40 knots. The container starts to move.
Yeah, you see the camera shake, container's shaking, so there's some gusts coming through now, so we could get quite a cool end to the final here. It's been already some amazing tricks pushed through, and still plenty more attempts to go. So it's not over yet. Lorenzo definitely in a dominant position. 23 points is a massive score already, and he definitely can improve. I mean, also if the wind picks up, he's on the 6. He's in a good position to go even higher with that. His brother's just switched to a bigger kite, which will be interesting, which means he'll be going massive. And I think these really, again, suit the other two boys, Jeremy and Stino, to have a bit more wind, to get a bit more height.
Yeah.
And so now, if the wind really has come through, there's a max gust up there in the screen of 44 almost. So
now
yeah,
we're talking.
We could see some even better tricks coming through.
9.27 that move from Jeremy. That is the biggest one we've seen all day. 9.27.
Wow, yeah, that's a huge score. And it's, yeah, I mean, difficult to see from the perspective, but I mean, all heats are also, people have to remember, are fairly relative to what's been going on in the heat. You know, you kind of judge on a scale, and they try to be quite similar each time, but each heat is slightly different. And now we see, yeah, Stino also not connecting in the same way as Jeremy.
No.
That was outstanding from him before. So that's only like, yeah, 10 meters, maybe a bit more, but
yeah, Jeremy really did get that elevator going all the way up, even though it was, you know, a kite loop, boogie loop with a board off, but he just went straight up and then came down. So 9.27, highest score of the competition.
He's put himself in contention. That's exactly what he needed. He only needs another big score, and he's going to be right on Lorenzo's heels, if not above him with another big score up in the something in the 7s or 8s. He's going to be taking the lead with that one. So it's starting to tighten back up now. That's going to be interesting last few tricks.
And Lorenzo knows it as well. So he's seen what Jeremy has just done. He's been cool, 7s all the way through, but now knowing Lorenzo, he knows that he's got to go very big to make sure that Jeremy doesn't get any closer. Looks like he's seen something as he's powering up. He does. Here we go. What's it going to be?
Oh, it's big. Wow.
S-loop. Oh, and stalls it. And that is huge. Looking like that from this perspective, if that was from the side, he's going to be horizontal.
Yeah, it looked like the bottom of the S there was definitely in line with him, and he's on 22-meter lines, so that just shows how low the kite would have gone.
Oh.
Maybe a little bit up, but I mean, out of all the ones we've seen, in combination with the actual height, yeah, I mean, that's going to be a big scorer for sure. I think that will push him up into the 8s, so things are really heating up now.
Game on, mate. Game on. I mean, this is kind of, we saw it in the final of the women as well. You know, Zara taking the win, winning the World Championship of the final move of your heat and the final move of that day. Doesn't get a better feeling than that.
It's never over till it's over. I mean, you just got to keep going. Whatever the situation, even if it's an impossible 10 that you need to win the heat,
it can happen.
It can happen. You can just have the trick of your life, hit the gust, hit the kicker. So these guys just got to stay focused, keep doing what they do best. And there it is. That's he's been hanging out with Jeremy, I think.
He has been hanging out with Jeremy, and this boy, he is now applying pressure because that is he's probably going to get around the 7s for that, I'd say. So now Leonardo CASATI has put himself back into contention. Lorenzo, an 8.40 for that S-loop, 23.80. So now Jeremy Burlando, he needs to land these two moves, and they need to be big so he can really concentrate. We'll get a replay of the takeoff for that one. Is he going to come down? Yes, he does. Big move from Jeremy. Let's have the replay. Here we go. Battle is out.
Yeah, that looked pretty smooth. I don't think it was as big as the 9, but it was decent takeoff. I'm sure of it. And yeah, it was pretty big and smooth and controlled.
From the fin again, the control into the handle, and again, flipping, head over heels. Judges are going to be liking that. Get in the height. I reckon Burlando back in action, but CASATI has put on a hell of a heat. And it's not going to make his life easy, but it ain't over until it's over. Here we have Stino for his second to last one. He is currently out there in 3rd position. So what is it going to be? What is it going to be?
It's also big.
This guy doesn't jump under 15 meters. I tell you, every single time. Every single time. So Stino, second at the moment, 20.0 over there. But it is anybody's money. It all comes down to the final round. I love it.
Yeah, that was big as well. Just a simple trick for him, but still big and yeah, stylish and smooth. And he hit the gust there. So Yeah, let's see. Here's some speed for Lorenzo. Really.
Oh, he's got the height. S-loop, back row S-loop, with a couple under loops on the way. Tap the board while you're coming down, why not?
Well, I mean, it kind of looked out of control, but like he still had it all under control in some ways and maybe was able to bring it down. His takeoff just wasn't right. It wasn't what he was hoping for, I think. And then he kind of just adapted mid-air to try and make something happen. Bit backwards, put some momentum in to get facing forward and get your core strength engaged. And then he was able to deal with the landing and have the kite save
not going to improve on his scores for sure. So 23.80 is going to be the total for Lorenzo. A hell of a score. Now, Leonardo, he needs to improve by 4.45 if he wants to be first, or improve by a 1.25 on his overall if he wants to be second. So it could happen. He'd almost need a perfect 10, but you never know.
Yeah, he's going to go for something big now as well. And Jeremy also doesn't have a big score, so it'll be down to the last one for him as well. So this is a big contra.
Oh, extra rotation. Decided instead to... Oh!
Yeah, these extra gusts have really... the second half of the heat's really like made it much better for these guys. You can see that was also massive contra. So that's going to be a big score too. So he's done himself really proud. He's first time in the limelight here in a final and proved that he can do the doubles, he can do the single loops, and well, he can be really proud of himself no matter where he finishes.
I reckon he might have secured himself a spot on the podium with that last move.
Yeah.
So 2 to go. Jeremy Burlando looking to be world champion. Scenarios are out. What is going to happen? He was second in France at the moment in the final, and he needs a big number. He needs a big number. His lowest score, he only has 2 big scores, a 9.27 and a 7.90. So Burlando, for the final jump of his heats, he's going to be patient, I can tell you that.
Yeah, he has to be. I mean, it's big. It's such a moment for him, and he knows what he can do. It's interesting that he's put it down to this moment. I think it's going to be some sort of contra loop front roll. That's what he's... Yeah, here he goes.
Gets the height. Can he get it on? He's spinning around. Oh!
It's big.
It's big.
Is it enough? 20 meters almost. 19 here on the app. That was pretty big.
Needing around, I think he needs it to be a big score. We're waiting, calculations coming in. It needs to be a big score if he's going to be able to take out Lorenzo. He got the height. Angle wasn't there, but did have the technicality. Going to come down to the wire.
I think he's going to... He only needs to get in the 7s, and I'm pretty sure that's going to come in. I think he's done it.
I think he might have done it, yeah. So Stino crashing out. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We are waiting for scores to come in. Your grand finale here of the Qatar Airways GKA Kite Big Air World Championships. We're going to go to the highlights and wait for the results to come in.